How's it going, everybody? June 26th, Merch by Amazon, or should I say Amazon Merch on Demand sales update. Recording this first thing in the morning on the 27th, so we're going to be looking at the first 26 days. No sales yet this morning, which is fine. I mean, for how early it is in the US and Canada, Eastern Standard Time, it's not surprising for me. But what is surprising is this huge drop off here. Now, I've talked to a few people, and a bunch of people actually saw pretty significant spikes on Friday and Saturday, spikes in sales. And I'm talking like abnormally high for a lot of people. I guess including myself. 16 is, huge compared to 2 and 5. What's surprising to me is this, like, how irregular, how inconsistent this is. And I've talked about inconsistency before, but this is just like nuts. This is I don't even know how to explain this, but that's okay. So let's look at this quickly, and then what I have prepared is I have something I'm gonna do different today. Is I'm gonna throw in like annual, yearly sales, because some people were asking me to do those comparisons. I guess they want to see the bigger picture and see if there is a difference in, and if there's any growth if we're looking at my total sales starting from January 1st, because I'm usually talking about daily, weekly, monthly sales, but I never actually talk about, how many items I've sold since January 1st. So I'm going to throw that in today. Hopefully that's interesting to you guys. So right now I'm sitting at 182 sales in the US. Let's see, because I don't have a great internet connection here, so I had to preload everything. But let's see if we can look at some of the total numbers, and it looks like that might not work. So I'll let it load, see if it actually does work. But 182 with about 4 days to go. It doesn't look like I'm gonna be coming close to last month. But again, who knows, if anything like this happens a few days in a row, which again, looking at yesterday, it most likely won't. I'm looking at, about 200 and maybe 10, 20 sales, which is still above average, my monthly average since maybe November of 2021. So that's okay. Yesterday's total, 8 sales. So there was a significant drop across all the marketplaces, at least for me. I'm not sure how you guys did, and how you're feeling about it, but I think I went from like 20, I can't remember what I did yesterday, but it was definitely, I think, over 22, down to 8. One in the UK, 2 in Germany, and 1 in Japan. Only 4 sales in the US. That brings me to 272 for the total so far. So 26 days, 272, and if we're doing like a quick simple math, that's the 10 or 11 sales per day that I have been averaging for a few months. So it's kind of like sticking to that number, and it's really not budging. What's looking good is, honestly, like, I like to see the 20s, because I remember months ago, like, since I started doing these sales updates more regularly, I remember even just talking about, I'm so happy to even get like one sale in some of these different marketplaces. But now, like, I'm doing 20 sales in the UK, 25 in Germany, 20 in Japan, 13 in Italy. I'm hitting these double digits. It's happening slowly enough for me not to kind of notice, but I notice from time to time, and it honestly feels good. As you can see here, my royalties, like, they're creeping up to, $800-900, probably going to be 1,000 by the end of the month, and that's becoming kind of like a norm now. Like, I actually I'm expecting to get $1,000 each month on average from merch by Amazon, which is nuts to actually have that expectation, because it happens so regularly. I could just be like, hey, I'm gonna get $1,000 deposit at the end of the month from my Merch by Amazon sales. It's to me, and this is, I actually wanted to open the video talking about how great print on demand is, especially, and I've been talking to, like, I'm recording these videos from vacation, and even if I didn't do anything, which I'm still like doing uploads and my designs, because I'm trying to stay busy, even if I'm putting in like 10% of the time that I do at home. That's the point of print on demand, is we can be hands off and we'll still get $1,000 or whatever you're making, maybe $100, maybe $10,000 a month, even when you're not working, when you're on vacation. That's the whole point. That's I believe that's why we all got into this, and it feels good. So 272 so far, 307 for the same period last month. So I am 35 sales behind May, and I believe yesterday I was 35 sales behind May. So 307, 272, not a huge difference, but a noticeable difference. And as you can see here, most of that is coming from the US, and that's fine. Here's some interesting numbers. So far this year, I did 1,747 sales. I made 1,747 sales. As you can see, the numbers are pretty good across the board. Money adds up. Like I said, by the end of the year, it's $1,000, maybe $1,200 on average each month in royalties, and it feels pretty good. Now, here's the interesting part, because this year, I feel like certain months are behind last year, but then look at this total, okay? This is from January 1st until June 26th. January 1st to June 26th, 2021. So I am actually 317 sales ahead of last year. And look at the difference. Just look at these numbers here. Just ignore US for a second. Let me flash these numbers. Look at that. Look at the international sales that I'm getting this year that I didn't get last year. But then also, let's now concentrate on the US sales. 1,084, 1,200. So that is the difference. Even with the drop in sales in the US, I am way ahead when it comes to my overall sales. Where I'm not ahead are my royalties, at least in the US. Look at the difference here. I'm $1,200 behind in the US. Like, the difference will add up. Like, I'm still gonna come out on top because of all these other sales in the other marketplaces. But royalties, and I don't know if you guys remember, I was putting out videos talking about how I'm testing out lower price points and everything, which actually didn't help at all. It actually just hurt me because I'm making so much less royalties per sale now, because the items that are selling are about $3 to $4 less total price, like list price, and that's hurting me a lot in royalties. So even though I was making, I had less sales here, my royalties per sale in the US were just crushing it. Like, we're talking about like 30% more, maybe like 20% if I did the math correctly. But that's okay, because look at this. By the end of the year last year, I had 3,586. So this was my total for the year, and I am probably right on point. If let's see, if we're expecting a spike later on in the year, I think I'm well on track to actually beat this number. So that's the interesting part for me, because I don't know the numbers. If they're going to speak for themselves, it looks like this might be a pretty good year for me. So, thank you for, I'm not sure who asked to include these numbers. I actually like them. They're very interesting. But yeah, so far 1,747 this year. This month 272. Yesterday 8. And then, as you can see here, this month in the US, 182. Anyways, I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Let me know how you guys are doing. And I'll talk to you soon.